Hey everybody, this is Mike from Edge Note 50 TV talking about boxing. Hey, if you're watching this show for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the notification button, and also follow me on my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We got a lot of boxing we're going to be talking about today. Hey Johnny from Manchester, how's it going? Hey, so we know we got a lot of boxing, so we're gonna get down to it. Normally I start at 10 o'clock, but it's 10:30. I had to eat, you know how it is. You know, if I don't eat, I die. That's just life. Hey, I've got a guest today as well with me, Connor boxing, McGregor boxing. So hey, say hey, Connor, how's it going?
Yo, what's good, guys? How's it going, man? What's good, Edge? You doing well, fam?
Yeah, man. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You know, lots of boxing news happening. There's so many to cram into one show. You know, so I know you're keen to get talking. You got a lot of things you got to say, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we're going to talk about Alvarez versus Kovalev 2 preview. We're going to talk about the Triple G offers from DAZN, from PBC. Where's he going to go? We're going to talk about AJ's options. Also, there's some news about Ortiz and Ortiz putting out a challenge to AJ as well. So yeah, there's so many stuff going on. Also, George Groves' retirement. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So we're going to go a little bit about everything talk about today. So so hey, McGregor boxing. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start today?
Mate, just start right up at the top. You can start off with the very beginning.
Yeah.
What you started out with. Yeah.
All right.
The Kovalev Alvarez.
Okay, let's go Kovalev Alvarez. So this fight is interesting. The first fight, Kovalev, people say was winning, and then until he got that knockout, people are saying, as Kovalev got much in the tank left, and there's a lot of things going into this fight. This fight is interesting because does Kovalev have the hunger? Does he have that desire to try and claim his belts back? So, I mean, what's your views on this fight?
Me personally, I thought Alvarez was going to beat him the first time.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to beat him by knockout, and a lot of people laughed at me, and I was right. And I think he'll do the same thing. Obviously, there's been allegations on Kovalev recently, and I don't think if he was mentally there at all beforehand, he can't be now. He's got a court case, $8 million lawsuit. The dude's struggling with alcohol problems. So if this type of stuff is going on, how committed can he really be at the moment? Like, you need to be in, like, it's hard enough to get out of bed and go train every day when you've achieved nearly everything you set out to do. And I don't know, man. He looks like a shattered soul to me, even in interviews now. Like, he's not the same Kovalev. I think he's going to get hurt. I think he's actually going to get physically damaged in this fight. I think he took a rough beating off of Ward in the second fight. Very rough one. And most people thought he was winning in the Alvarez fight. I didn't see it that way. I had it a draw before Alvarez knocked his ass out. But beggars can't be choosers. I think Alvarez will know to time him a little bit better this time, move a little bit more, and break him down. I think he knows how to break him down now. And Kovalev, yeah, man, mentally he's gone. Nothing in there for me.
Yeah. I mean, this is very interesting because Kovalev has competed at a high level for a long time, and I think that the two losses to Ward, really affected him, and that carried over all the way through to the Alvarez fight. That's what I believe. He was winning, and then he got hit, and then that was it. So now, I think this is the retirement fight for him. I think if he goes and loses to Alvarez, I don't think there's nowhere else he could go but down from there. Personally, I think this will be the fight to define him. Whether he's able to come back and win the belt and show that the first fight against Alvarez was a blip, or he can, or he's going to lose and he's going to retire, because once you lose to Alvarez, the only way you're going to go is down. You know, I mean, I can't see him. I mean, look, he's still a name in the division, so there'll still be fighters that will be interested in fighting him, but you would have to question his desire, his motivation, you know, his hunger, if he still has that to compete at that level. You know, because it's a dangerous sport. And one thing I'll say in regards to what you're saying, you know, like the case that was happening with him, I don't think that would affect him too much, because what he was saying is that happened last year. That happened like a while ago. So
but nobody knew about it. That's the thing. Now people know about it. That'll play on your head, Edge. Surely, man.
I don't know.
Like, look, let's say you or me. Let's say one of us did a crime, right? Let's say I went out and I robbed the store, right? And I was in the public image, and people knew who I was, but nobody knew about it. And then I was about to do something that was important or whatever. Let's say I was about to have a boxing match myself, and people found out that a few months ago I robbed the store. I'm going to be thinking about that. Everyone now knows what I did, and I thought I was getting away with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I understand from that point of view, but then you have to look at it from another way as well, like thinking, well, you know, if you're a professional, you have to put those things out of your mind, because, you know, let's look at it like this. At the end of the day, you know, you're gonna get, you know, you could have a girlfriend, you could have an argument with your girlfriend or wife before you have your fight. Things can happen with family, personal things. You know, we've heard that loads of fighters had personal issues before they get into the fight, but then they have to be professional about it, because the opportunity could be your only opportunity you have to potentially win a world title or to get to that next level. So sometimes you have to put personal stuff aside and be a professional and go into the fight. So the question is that whether Kovalev has the mental strength to put the stuff that's gone on behind him and move forward. And
I don't think he does.
So are you questioning his mentality?
I think everybody who is a boxing hardcore fan over the last 2 years has questioned the heart, mentality, and hunger of Sergey Kovalev. And that's a reality. Even trainers have questioned it. John David Jackson questioned his mentality, his hunger and desire. I don't think he has it. I think he's the type of person who's a bully, and as soon as he gets it back, he can't take it. And I was a Sergey Kovalev hardcore fan a few years ago, but I think I was proven wrong, and that's the truth. I think he proved me wrong, because he can go in there and beat up the shit. Like, he can knock out cleverly, easy money, bully him, beat him. But a guy who's able to stand there with him, dish it back, hit him back, smack him back, he cowers.
Yeah. I mean, this is why it's gonna be interesting. You know, I mean, he was winning that fight before he got hit. So the question is,
in your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an opinion. I don't think he did too bad in that fight. I mean, people say he was winning, people could say he was losing or whatever, but it wasn't.
I had it a draw. I had it even. It even.
So you couldn't say it wasn't a terrible performance or anything like that. It was quite even, and I think he handled himself well. And obviously Kovalev said in the interview that, you know, he was lucky. He said it was one lucky shot, and that was what it is. So now we're gonna see if it's a lucky shot or not. Because
can I just ask a question though? Yeah. He said it's a lucky shot. He said Andre Ward cheated. He said that the referees cheated him. He's always making excuses and can't man up for the fact that he doesn't have a set of balls, in my opinion. So the question I'm going to ask you is, do you think it was a lucky shot, or do you think Leader Alvarez knocked his ass out?
I don't think it's a lucky shot, just because obviously Kovalev, I mean, Ward went connected with him, and then Alvarez went connected with him. So obviously it's a thing that they have seen. They've looked at obviously the Ward fight, and they've seen, okay, he can get hit. So, and they've kind of used that to their advantage. So, and I think that, so I don't think it was lucky, because it's been the same 2 fights consecutively where he's been hit. and it's affected him. Whereas this time it's a knock. Well, both times was a knockout, but this time it was more what do you call it? Effective, not more effective. It was more devastating in that sense with Alvarez. So I don't think it was lucky, but at the same time, you know, this is why this weekend is gonna be intriguing. This is why it's gonna be interesting to see, because we're gonna find out if it's lucky or not.
Is that fight this weekend?
Yeah, his fight is this weekend. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's on the second.
There's no publicity. There's no publicity on this fight, and it's a great fight. This could be a really good fight. The first fight was a brilliant. While it lasted, it was a fantastic fight. So.
Yeah, no, there's no publicity at all for it. No press conference from what I can see. But this is more to do with a top rank ESPN issue. So in the last few fights as well, they haven't had any publicity, especially from the UK anyways. Maybe in the States, but especially from the UK. I remember when Crawford faced Benavidez, it was very hard to get any sort of coverage from that whatsoever. And Crawford is one of your biggest names. He's one of your biggest fighters. And in the UK, it's very difficult to try and to get any coverage from that fight. To find the press conference was tough. The weigh-in was tough. You know, you have to, you know, so, yeah, I mean, that's more of an ESPN and Top Rank issue. And the press for this has been terrible. You know, there's hardly been a peep from Kovalev and Alvarez about this fight, hyping up this fight, or anything like that. So that's something that Top Rank and ESPN have to work on more. They have to work on promoting this fight more, for them to get the attention that it deserves. Because if people don't know about this fight, they must know that this fight is one of the top fights in February. You know, two top athletes. You know, we might be saying Kovalev might lost a step or two, but in the overall picture, he's still one of the bigger names in that division. And even if he loses, he'll still be a name that a lot of fighters will want to face. Do you know what I mean? Hello? Hello?
I smacked the shit out of Kovalev.
Hey, how's it going? All right?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You hear me?
Yeah. So T and Unrivaled is on. Oh no, he ain't. Oh,
So what's good, Low Place? What's good, Low Place?
I smacked the shit out of Kovalev.
Oh, Low Place. Oh, okay, yeah. So see.
Kovalev gonna lose because he gonna be thinking about that horse that the girl wanted him to fuck. That's why he gonna lose.
Hey, Low Place, man. You can't have swearing, yeah, because I don't want my channel getting closed down.
They don't care about no swearing, man. They don't care about no cursing.
Yeah, they do. They're closing down channels. There's a couple of channels that they've been posting videos up saying their channel's been closed down for little things like, you know what I mean? So yeah, so just try and avoid the swearing.
Keep the bestiality to your own channel. Low
Yeah,
Place.
she wanted them to bang a horse, man. He not gonna be mentally ready. Alvarez gonna knock him out.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I take it both of you think that it's going to be Alvarez winning.
No, jokes aside, Kovalev got a shot in every fight he in.
Yeah,
I truly do believe in Buddy McGirt. Gonna make him work hard.
Hold on. That's news to me. Is Buddy McGirt training Kovalev right now?
Yeah, he went to Buddy McGirt. He gonna make him work hard, but smart. That's another. He's 35 years old, and I truly do believe and I don't believe nothing Kathy Duva say, but I do believe her when she says Kovalev was going too hard and trying to train like he was 29 years old, 23 years old, but he's not. He's 36, 35. Got to pull back the reins some. And Buddy McGirt got experience with kind of fighters that's fading out like Gotti. You know what I'm saying? He been in that corner and revived his career a little bit till Floyd Mayweather came along. But Kovalev was winning the first fight. He know what to do. He need to drop the punch output a little bit, use his jab a little better, tuck his chin and brace for the shots a little more, and you know that's it. You know, keep his hands up. Keep his hands up. He can win this fight. I'm favoring Alvarez, but I ain't sleeping on Kovalev. No way. They both
look. Personally, I favor Alvarez. Yeah, but my biggest question is the mental strength and integrity of Sergey Kovalev at this point, and that's the honest truth. like how good he still is, or how much hunger, desire, how much heart he really has. Because I feel as though if he's not able to bully you and you can hit him back, he folds. And that's my biggest question on the man. I think he's a folder. He's a world class. He's a tremendous boxer and he's a tremendous bully. He just needs more like dogging him. And I think, like you saying, Buddy's training him. That'll help. That'll definitely help him.
But did he fold versus Alvarez though, or did he just get hit and couldn't recover? Like,
I don't know. He didn't fold against Alvarez. He got folded by Alvarez.
My point.
He didn't fold himself. Alvarez folded him.
I agree.
And I think Alvarez can do the same thing again. I think Alvarez.
I think Alvarez got the lucky shot. Alvarez got lucky. Kovalev made a big mistake, and he said it. I was drained. I was tired. I just didn't have the strength. I want to believe him. But Kovalev just made a mistake of walking in with his hands low.
I don't want to believe Kovalev, man. All he does is make excuses, low place. His entire career has been nothing but an excuse.
I saw this one, though. His hands were actually low. It wasn't something that Alvarez brought out of him. Jab the body, make you make a mistake, come up top. Kovalev's hands was just low. Like he just walked in the range low. And it looked like a fatigue mistake. A fatigue mistake after kicking his ass. I'm telling you, Kovalev might be the new WBO champion. I really believe I'm favoring Kovalev here.
You're favoring Kovalev or Alvarez?
I'm leaning towards Kovalev. I'm believing him. I believe that, I believe he's got a lot to work for. Got another fight he probably need to come up with. $8 million he's being sued for. It could do a mental thing on him, but hell, he could say, I got to make this money back. I need to win these titles and get some big fights that we could sell for pay-per-view in Russia, maybe. Like Ukraine versus Russia, Russia versus Russia.
There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions here with Kovalev. There is a lot of questions. But the main thing is that we can all agree on is Alvarez and Kovalev is a fucking phenomenal fight and deserves way more publicity than it's gotten.
Well, publicity.
Definitely. Yeah, man. We got another person in the chat. We got Phil. How's it going?
Say, man, it's all good. Just excited about this weekend, man.
Yeah, man. We're talking about Alvarez and Kovalev at the minute. I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole situation and on who do you think's going to win?
Hey, Phil. Yeah, you sound like Michael B. Jordan.
Hello?
Yeah, you sound like Michael B. Jordan, man.
Oh, man, I don't know about all that.
I just recognize that.
But my thoughts on it, I think it's a good fight. I think if Kovalev doesn't get rattled or, the game plan, they say you got a great game plan until you get punched in the mouth. I think if a situation like that doesn't affect him and he sticks to his fundamentals and his basics and picks his shots right, he has a chance to beat Alvarez. But if he gets rattled, gets frustrated, I think Alvarez will beat him and possibly even stop him again. But you never know. Kovalev, I question his heart, man, and I just question, how well he performs under pressure. But who knows? He may surprise us this time.
Yeah, I mean that's just the thing. It's all about how he. Oh God, man, what's going on there? It's all about how he performs under pressure because, this is going to be a test. It's going to be a real test for him because, Alvarez is had that taste of winning a championship and being a champion, and he's not going to want to let it go. So it's all about who has more dog. Who is going to be more hungry out of the two. That's what it's going to come down to. And if Kovalev has got all those $8 million bills he needs to pay, well.
Another thing, man, Phil made a good point. When you say under pressure, I don't think about the first fight. I don't think he was under pressure. I think he just got badly hurt. But this fight, you're right. This one is under pressure. I ain't thought about this. And that does come into play. Okay, when he under pressure with the War rematch, even though War was under pressure too, he took the low blows and quit. I believe they was low blows. I seen other people work through it, so I can question his mental state just a little bit. But at the same time, a hit in the nuts, a hit in the nuts. If you hurt, you hurt. But other people did work through that shit. But now you made the point that this is a pressure, an event where pressure is gonna be like, okay, this is where you shine and show you can't say that about me no more, or you can forever say that about me. That's the point I wasn't thinking. But Kovalev got a lot riding on this shit. Like, to me, he could jump right back in the pound for pound list with not maybe number 3, number 4ish with a fucking knockout victory in this fight, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so he got a lot riding.
Yeah, with this win, that's gonna put him right back in the mix. He's gonna be, back in the mix again. I think.
But if Alvarez stops him again, like Alvarez kind of cements his place inside that top 10 area as well. That's a tremendous victory.
Definitely, if he beats Kovalev, then that's it. He's gonna be
because he beat him the first time. You can say it was a lucky punch the first time. People can say that if they want. I think he knocked him out. But if he knocks him out again, or if he beats him in a unanimous decision or something, it just cements how good he is.
No, let me say Alvarez. I think if he beats Kovalev clearly this second time round, he'll be the number 1 light heavyweight in the division.
Questionable.
I think Vosdick is lineal, but as far as who got the more wins, it'll definitely be Alvarez at the moment, because Vosdick is taking an easy fight and Alvarez is taking 2 back-to-back. When Vosdick could easily fight Beterbiev right now, but he's taking it.
He could fight Beterbiev, or he could fight his mandatory and Marcus Brown.
Yeah,
either of those fights, and we'd be looking at, wow, okay, that's serious business from Vosdick.
Yeah, that's
if he goes and fight, me and Lopez don't tend to agree on much, but on this situation with Vosdick, he has the option to fight Beterbiev, but apparently he's taking a voluntary, isn't he?
Yeah, Bush is just March 20th bullshit fight we don't know about yet, and Beterbiev has talked about fighting Sullivan Barrera, and at this point I don't want to see Sullivan Barrera fighting for titles, because the last one he fought for, he didn't win a fucking round in. But as far as the lucky shot claim with Alvarez, I'll say this. I'm not saying in the sense of, he was getting his ass kicked the whole fight and then boom, it just happened. No, it's just Kovalev gave him something. He gave him a gift. Like, my chin is right here, my hands are down, and I'm not respecting range. That is a rookie mistake made by a veteran, and so Sergey needs to clear that up with his new coach. And he need to clear that up. I think he's done it in training by taking it a little lighter. Keep the hands up, keep the jab working, slip a little bit, tuck the chin. And I think he's too much for a later Alvarez. Later Alvarez looked like the guy ready to quit in the fight. Actually, he's sitting in the corner for a lot in those rounds. I'm just like, man, he was doing great early. And then next thing you know, he was sinking in the corners. Then Kovalev gave him a slice of cake, man.
And, what's the name is Coach, buddy?
Yeah, Buddy McGirt.
Hey, by the way, we got Battle Rifle on.
No, that's Leonard Ellaby. No, that's Leonard Ellaby nose. That's who that is.
Yeah, man. We've got Leonard Ellaby. We've got Leonard Ellaby's nose. We've got a guy with 17 accounts in the building.
Look, check this out. Just to
no. I want to shut this down right now. Leonard Ellaby's nose is an entirely different person. I heard you guys in the hangout. He contacted me and told me that people kept assuming I was him. Leonard,
you got into a hangout on that account before.
When do I ever go to your chat and just freaking troll your chat the whole time? I barely ever.
I don't know. That's why it's weird you doing
it's like that. Nah, little plays. You just trying to make it seem like you're more important than what you actually are, bro.
Hey, guys, let's keep this boxing, man. If you guys want to have a fight, it's gonna be pay-per-view. You can't have this. You can't have these fights.
I mean, both players trying to make it seem like I can actually invite Leonard Ellaby's nose on the hangout right now, and we can talk. And he's entirely a different person.
Do that.
I want to come.
Yo, hold on. Hold the phone. And stop fucking up Edge's podcast, man.
Hey,
okay.
We keep this boxing.
Speak on the. So let me speak on something that low place mentioned.
Anyways, back to the book. What we was talking about, yeah. Battle Rifle. What's your views on Alvarez Kovalev 2?
Maybe Kovalev pull out something good. He does pretty decent in rematches. I don't think he did as bad as people said he did in part 2. It's just he got caught and he eventually got stopped. And that's part of the game. I think.
Yo, Is Battle sound quality messed up for anyone else?
Yeah. It's I can't hear him properly on there. So yeah. So
You can't hear me?
Yeah. You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come back.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to comment on what Low Play said about the fight earlier. You know, honestly, you know, when you go back and look, and I just, matter of fact, I watched the fight yesterday. You go back and you look at the fight, it was actually a pretty close fight. I had Kovalev winning the fight actually at the point of stoppage. But Alvarez was doing some good things. I won't say that was a lucky punch, or I won't say that, you know, Kovalev gave him a gift. I mean, a lucky punch to me is like when Charlo hit Lubin, you know, in that first round stoppage. It was tactical, but it was just he hit him in the perfect spot. But I think Alvarez did some good things, and I think he put himself in a position to catch him at the right time. It was a good fight. You know, if it would have went to the cards, right then and there, I actually had Kovalev winning the fight. But again, I just think when after seeing Kovalev against Ward, I just don't know how he's going to come back after a loss. Even he didn't even seem all the way into it in Ward 2. You know, he seemed like a shell of himself. But I think it's going to be a better fight than people anticipating, because the odds, everybody has Alvarez way ahead on the odds in the gambling world.
I'm not saying lucky's just for lack of a better term, and what the best thing to say is Kovalev just made a mistake that was not induced by Alvarez. It wasn't induced by anything but himself to walk in there with his hands down and not be fight ready. And Alvarez, as a fighter, you walk in on me, just damn hands down, and I can throw a punch, and you've been whooping on my ass. You damn right I'm gonna throw that punch and see if something happened from it. Yeah. My thought is, if that punch did not affect Kovalev, if it didn't, I think Alvarez round by round was slowing. Remember, he 35 too, and he don't like to fight at a high pace. Round by round, he was slowing down. He was getting closer to the ropes. He was sitting there longer and longer. He was getting hurt more and more. If that punch didn't land on Kovalev, didn't knock Kovalev out or didn't wobble him, I think Alvarez would have quit before Kovalev would have. I think I changed my pick here today.
All right. Speaking about picks, let's hear your predictions. So each of you, one by one, who do you think is going to win? Let's start with McGregor. Who do you think is going to win?
My pick in the first fight was the leader Alvarez. And that hasn't changed for the second fight. I think it's going to be a late stoppage, roughly in around 9 or 10 rounds.
Okay. All right.
And I think he's going to take it. I think he's going to take him out with a body shot and then taking him out to the head. The body shot will crumble him, and he'll smack him in the temple. He'll go down from a hook, and that'll be all she wrote.
All right. So let's we'll find out Saturday. So Low Place, what do you think?
Kovalev. I don't think a later Alvarez can hurt him unless he gives him the perfect shot, and I think Kovalev gonna make the adjustment.
Okay. Phil.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Alvarez. I went with Alvarez the first fight, and you know, the way I look at things is, you know, I judge you based on what you've done here lately. And lately, Kovalev just hadn't showed me any heart. He fights well when he's dominating the fight. Anytime he faces adversity, he crumbles. And again, I need to see a little bit more from Alvarez. But as far as I'm concerned, here of late, the Crusher Kovalev hasn't been performing up to his standard and expectations of the fans.
Okay, so battle rifle. Battle rifle.
I think he left the chat.
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think I'll give the edge to leader Alvarez. He you know, he picked his spots very, very well in the first fight. I don't think he was winning, but he did do some good things in that fight. So I think I would probably give it to leader. I think he'll catch Kovalev between his shots. So I'll probably have it You know, I think I'm gonna give it a decision, a leader Alvarez by decision.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Eloy Alvarez by knockout. I think it could go 5 or 6 rounds, and then he's gonna go for a knockout. That's what I think could happen. So yeah, I think Eloy Alvarez. Also, we've got a clean sweep. I think so. Everyone's kind of on the same page on that one. So yeah,
except for low place.
Yeah,
I'm the only one in the world picking Kovalev, man.
Low plays is Kovalev. So we're gonna see Sunday. I'm gonna do a show on Sunday. Then it's gonna be interesting to see who was right and who was wrong on that one. So all right, let's go and talk about Triple G. Let's talk about Triple G and the offers that that he's been given. There's reports coming out saying he's been offered a lot of money by the DAZN. So let's go into the Pacifics. Yeah, they're saying that, what was it, yesterday? Eddie Hearn went to LA with the DAZN chairman John Skipper, and according to sources, they've made an offer for a 2-fight deal in the region of $45 million. So I'm guessing that the 2-fight deal is going to be, the first one is going to be against Andrade, and then the second fight is going to be against the winner of Triple G and Canelo. That's going to be the offer. Now, PBC has also made an offer to Golovkin as well, which, as allegedly, is supposed to be more. The first fight is going to be a tune-up fight against somebody, but the second fight is going to be a pay-per-view fight with Jamal Charlo. Now, he's got those 2 offers on the table. The question is that which offer do you guys think he's going to end up with? So let's start with Phil. What offer would you think you would go for?
Me personally, I would probably go with the DAZN for the simple fact that I just think it'll be easier to make the fights. It's the for sure money. You know, you don't have to worry too much about contracts on your end. It's mainly going to be on whoever your opponent's end will be. So, you know, Triple G is, at this point, he's a veteran. Okay, he's been fighting for a long time, and we don't know how much longer he's going to fight. So I think the smart decision is to go with the for sure money, because in that case, no matter whether win, lose, or draw, however your situation may be, the money is there, and the fights are just easier to be made on the DAZN side. So I would, without a doubt, go with DAZN.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Battle, what do you think?
What do I think about what?
The Triple G do you think he should sign with PBC, or do you think he should sign with DAZN?
I don't know. It's such a big smoke screen. I think they're just doing that just to get the fans excited that he's going to have a potential fight with PBC fighters. They basically said that there was going to be, through a 3-fight deal, he was going to have 2 fights before Canelo, I believe, and they said Jamal Charlo is going to be a pay-per-view fight. But that's basically mean that, they're telling me that out of all this time they planned for Jamal Charlo to be a pay-per-view fight, yet they didn't want to fight him. So it's weird. It's one of the big smoke screen. I don't know what to think of it. As far as now, I just be like, just it's whatever. I don't really think too hard.
You trying to make Jamal Charlo out as a ducker for them giving Golovkin?
That's not what I said. See, TU and his trolling thing again.
You did just say that though. Ain't that what you said? You just said that.
Yeah, I did not say that. What are you talking about?
So low place. What do you think? What do you think he should do? What do you think he's
I'm
do?
trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what Battle just said the whole time they didn't want to fight him thing. That's what I'm trying to understand right now.
Yeah, I was talking about, let's see, if you listen, I was talking about Triple G. Triple G was basically the whole team. The reason for not fighting Charlo is because he didn't bring enough money to the table. That was their excuse. And then you want to tell me on the other hand.
You didn't explain it. That's why I was trying to go there. And I know you've been Team Triple G on it, so I just figured you were. I got you. I ain't trolling you. You just didn't.
Abel Sanchez is doing it for the. Abel Sanchez and Triple G's team is just like trolling the media now. So basically, I just can't get behind what they're saying. I'm not really going to do anything until I see them actually fight somebody.
Well, okay. Well, my take. Well, I use the previous battle statements from a while ago that that Charlo ain't a tough fight for Triple G. Other fans that were with Triple G, Charlo ain't a tough fight. This and that. So if I use they statements, and I'm gonna give a flip side to it. If I get a statements, I go get that 10 million, that easy tune-up money, and then knock out that bum Charlo, and then go to DAZN and tell me, giving me even more for Canelo. But that ain't the case. We know the truth. Charlo is a hard fight for your old ass. So this is what I would do in reality. Even if I'm a fucking hype job, because I said it before, I'd rather be a hype job than a job hunt. Which means I go get my ass to DAZN, go get my $42 million hype job paycheck, take my L to Canelo again, because I can't do no better than I did the first 2 times. And even if I do win, I'm gonna lose. But you know what I get to do after that? I get to fight Charlo on pay-per-view if Al Heyman's still talking that kind of money. So I got 3 big money fights, right? Or maybe 4. I take my L. You've been popular after 2 L's to Canelo, basically. So why not be popular after 3? That's what I do in reality. I take my 42, take my L, bring my ass back, and probably take another L to Jamal, and take my hype job ass on in the hype job ass retirement with hype job ass funds. That's what I do.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, and that's a very good point. So, hey, McGregor, what do you think?
I think he's going to sign with DAZN.
What do you think?
Main reason. What do I think he should do?
Yeah.
I think he should make as much money as he can. He's in that situation now. He's got like a year and a half left. Low Play's pretty much hit the nail on the head. He can go in there. He can fight like Andrade, probably for the WBO interim. He could fight Jacobs. And then he can fight Canelo afterwards. And then if he loses, he could still possibly fight Charlo, because it's still a big enough fight for Charlo to still get pay-per-view numbers. Even because if Triple G were to beat Andrade and Jacobs, or just beat Andrade, and then just lose to Canelo in what will be a competitive fight either way. For the first 2 were great fights either way, marred in controversy, still good fights. But if that's what happens, still enough to do a pay-per-view there with Charlo, make more money. So he's probably got 3 fights left. He'll do 2 with DAZN and probably do a pay-per-view with Charlo. And I'm pretty sure Al Heyman will still offer him good money for it. And he'll sail off into the sunset and go chill.
Yeah, but
that's what I think he should do.
And Charlo get to get step aside money while all this is going on, or make Canelo drop the belt. I'm just saying.
The problem with this now is, obviously, it's more likely Triple G will go with DAZN. But where's that gonna leave Charlo? That's the question. Because Charlo is... It's going to
leave Charlo fighting other guys like he's done his entire fucking career, knocking people out or beating them on points, and then waiting for Triple G, which will probably be about another year and a half, and then he'll fight him, and then the fight will take place. Charlo will still probably get step aside money or from Canelo during that fight, or he can demand that because he's decided to take another voluntary and he's been left in that situation, that the belt be rescinded from Canelo, which can actually take place, as Low Price already previous mentioned. So, in that situation, Charlo can only win. He's going to get money. He's going to get paid what I believe is too much money for the guys he's fighting anyway. And there you go. He'll continue winning. He'll build up a resume. Not a resume, but he'll build up a bigger record and move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah,
I said it.
We have to keep it real with the WBC. The WBC ain't going to call that mandatory for a long time. Maybe in 2020.
If he forces it, they will. If he forces it, they will. But the belt ain't going to get him no better resume.
They're number one. They can force it, but it's not going to make no difference because Canelo's the one that runs things, and they rather have the belt on Canelo than it would.
No, they already took it from Canelo. They took it from him before. They made it. Well, they didn't take it from him. He dropped it because they were telling him to do what he didn't want, and they were just like, "Well,
exactly.
Shit, we're gonna do our job." Because the WBC has been sued and filed for bankruptcy before. They don't want to see that shit no more. They don't want that no more. Like, they basically lucky to be here. When people talk about the WBC being the prestigious belt, that motherfucking belt was almost not here at all. Okay, so yeah,
like
look, Charlo got a lot of potential to do whatever the hell he want to do, but he's not. I said it long ago in the video. I said Triple G is a boss, like it or not. He is a boss. He run the career of a lot of people just by his little trickle down effects. And I said Charlo will never be looked at like a champion because of that. He won't have a resume to do so unless he go to 168. And I wish he kind of do that.
Yeah, like this is
or
the
maybe
thing.
Jarrett Hurd comes up and he fights Jarrett Hurd. Maybe that's it.
But that's the thing, though, because at the end of the day, I just don't understand why Charlo can't do what Jacobs did. Do you know what I mean? Like Jacobs is still with Al Heyman, but he decided he wanted to fight Canelo, so he went over to the zone and done that. So I don't see why Charlo can still be.
He said it wasn't enough money.
Huh?
He said it wasn't enough money for Eddie Hearn to give him a deal to fight over there. He said that numerous times.
Yeah, but then that's what it comes down to, though, because at the end of the day, like it's not gonna, if he goes and fights Canelo, it's not gonna be life-changing money that what he's getting on PBC. It's gonna be less. So that's what I mean. It doesn't make sense because you're getting offered money to go to the zone, and then you're gonna fight Canelo Alvarez. But then if you stay on PBC, you fight Canelo Alvarez, and let's say the mandatory gets called, it's gonna be like what, 2080 or 2575. It's like it's gonna be less than what you would get.
Or you go to you go to purse bid and you put the money up, or you threaten the purse bid, say, all right, we'll win it and we'll take Canelo off the zone, so y'all give us a better offer than a 25-75 purse bid.
Yeah, but even if they do, let's say they do go to purse bid, it's still 25-75, and it's still gonna be less money. Don't make no sense. So then why are you gonna turn down like 9-10 million? So then you can go and switch it and go onto the zone and make two.
I would, if I was Charlo,
split. That don't make no sense.
If I was Charlo, I would not network chase Canelo, because I've been on the same network with him before and he did not fight me. Canelo fights who he wants to fight, no matter what. Like you could say he's fighting Danny Jacobs, but the truth about Danny Jacobs is this: he ain't scary. As much as we want to make him scary, he ain't scary. He ain't knocked nobody out in about 5 fights, and it's a reason for that. And he won't knock Canelo out, and Canelo understands that. Now, Jamal Charlo, on the other hand, he have one bad performance where he don't knock somebody out, and we say, "Ha, you're not scary." But the truth is, the guy that Canelo's fighting is not scary. So I don't care if they was on the ESPN app together. I don't care if they was on my right foot together. Canelo would not fight Jamal Charlo until he says, I'm fighting Jamal Charlo.
I personally don't think that Canelo have a problem with Jamal. I don't think Jamal Charlo is a good fighter, but I don't think he is the boogeyman that everyone makes him out to be. I just think
but you got to remember, that if he was willing to go all the way from the zone, just not fighting one Charlo brother at 154, what do you think he's going to do when one actually signs to the zone and he's probably getting paid less money? So
I know, but like you have to look at it logically. Like the guy got offered $365 million. Yeah. So he didn't go to the zone.
I mean, but when
Charlo, he went for the money. Let's keep it real.
No. I'm not talking about the zone. I'm not talking about the zone. He was on Showtime and HBO with both Charlos. He never wanted to fight them. He said Austin Trout, who was the lighter puncher. Okay, and Austin Trout was more proven. He was there with Lara. He picked Angulo. He went and he fought James Kirkland. He was on HBO and Showtime with both of them. And he's not fighting them, bro. He's not interested in Jamal Charlo. He's interested in doing what he's gonna do. And Charlo would be the dumbest man in the world to chase Canelo Alvarez. That's
what you're gonna do. He's the top.
Look,
Canelo is the top guy. Yeah, you have to be perceived or seen to be chasing after the fights. You can't, as a B-side who's got no leverage whatsoever, sit back and say, I'm waiting for Canelo to do something. You know what I mean?
Canelo the only good fighter.
But Edna, you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen when they start doing it? They're going to start getting in situations where Sergey Kovalev taking a little purse bid and then not getting any type of money with Ward in the second fight. It's been so desperate to win that they end up taking a very very low amount of money just because they want to win that bag, and they end up getting screwed by their own promoter. So it's as far as that goes, I just don't see it happening. I kind of agree with Lopez. Canelo, he wants to fight.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying
wanna-
that Canelo. I'm not saying that Canelo is gonna fight Charlo if he goes to the zone. But what I'm saying is that the opportunity is going to be more likely for it to happen, because at the end of the day, let's keep it real. Did Canelo wanted to fight Jacobs? No, he didn't. But the zone is saying, if I'm paying you 365, you work for us, and we tell
Right,
you
I'm
who
gonna,
you're
I'm
fighting.
gonna say something. Yeah, I don't think there is a man alive who really is being honest with himself if they're picking Jacobs to beat Canelo.
I agree.
And I'm
man.
being deadly serious with that. I don't care how good I think Jacobs is. I think he's good. Canelo's just better at everything. He's got a better chin. He's more powerful, better feet, got better IQ, better punch selection. He's faster and he's stronger. And I don't like Canelo, but that's the bottom line. And he'll knock Jacobs out.
I don't
Jacobs'
agree.
career will be... You don't agree?
I don't agree that he's all of those things. I don't agree he's all those things.
I don't agree that it's going to be like an easy knockout like it was, because let's remember this.
No, I didn't say it's an easy knockout. I didn't say it's an easy knockout.
Jacob just ain't
took triple G 12 rounds. Let's remember that, yeah.
If I get what he's saying, guys, he's just saying personally, as far as Danny Jacobs, I guess the only thing you can really say that Danny Jacobs has better is he has better foot movement. He probably has faster hand speed, and then he probably just has, he does not have faster hand speed. He does not have faster hand speed. Okay, well, that was my mistake then, I guess.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Let me jump in.
My mic on.
I can't hear you.
No, low place. I can still hear you low, but let Phil get in here. Phil's been wanting to speak.
Yeah, so let me say this right here. I don't think that I will say Canelo is the favorite against Jacobs, without a doubt. But it is a formula to beat Canelo Alvarez. Okay, and I think Danny Jacobs possesses some of those qualities. Canelo does not have great foot movement. I think Jacobs has better foot movement than Canelo. I think Jacobs boxes better than Canelo. I think the only way he probably can beat Canelo is he's going to have to, because everybody said, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Canelo has problems with fighters that can move very well. Okay?
Yeah.
I think Jacobs moves well enough to be able to give Canelo some problems. Okay? So, if somebody's picking Jacobs to win, I don't think it's the out of control pick. I mean, I would have to really analyze it right before we got up into the fight. But, Jacobs do possess a lot of assets that will give Canelo some problems. Okay? But this is the thing right here. I will say this. When Canelo fights a good opponent, and he always rises to the challenge, I will give him that. He's not one of those kind of fighters that doesn't embrace the moment. So this is a chance right here where he's going to fight against a very, very, very good fighter. Okay, it's going to be for a lot of money. People are going to be excited about it. A lot of people are going to watch it, and I think he will rise to the occasion. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, because I mean, Jacobs is a very good fighter, and I don't think it's going to be easy as what people are saying is it going to be, or what people may perceive it's going to be. I think that Jacobs has got very good skills, and I think he did well in the Triple G fight the first time, when they had to fight. And I think that Canelo is going to have his work cut out for him, because I think that Jacobs knows that this is a big opportunity. This is a big opportunity, and if he loses this, then it's not going to get another opportunity again. I don't believe.
Can I dispel everything about Danny Jacobs? I'm gonna have to go after this. I'm about to.
Yeah.
Other things, but look, man. Can he move? Yes. Can he fight while he moves? No. All right, that's Danny Jacobs. That's for one. He's been in fights where he had every advantage. Triple G, he had every advantage over him. He's taller, he's stronger, he's supposed to hit just as hard, if not just a little less. He's faster, he's younger, he's all of these things more. But what did he do? He almost won. Is all he can do. I'm not gonna cuss on your channel. I'm not gonna cuss on your channel, but I got a term for Danny Jacobs. He's called an almost A-word N-word. Okay, he almost do everything. All right, almost do everything. That's it. and the dude he can have all of these gifts and advantages over this man. He gonna be about 4 inches taller than Canelo, probably way more. I don't know. They changing his weight. He's gonna have faster hands, but he had all of that on Selecki. He had all of that on Derevchenko. He had, maybe not the height with Selecki, but he has advantage after advantage, and he's a 7-5 winner or loser in all of those fights. In all of those last two fights, the man was picked for a reason. Okay, you're on the zone. Let's give the people that signed to us a thought that, hey, you can get the fight, and Danny Jacobs gonna get knocked the hell out. Probably gonna get knocked out, even when he got all these advantages. Just no faith in that guy. All right, just none. No need to have it either. All right, he's happy with being called the guy that almost beat the biggest hype job of all time. That's when you know you can't be happy. I'm out, man. I'm out, man. Y'all take it easy.
Peace out,
All
Low.
right.
Peace out.
All right, peace out, Low Plays. Peace out. Hey,
Yo,
we got
let me-
unbiased. We got unbiased on the chat just coming in. This is looking at Low Plays comes out. Unbiased is in. Hey, so we're talking about Triple G. Should he sign with DAZN or PBC? So, what do you think he should do? What do you think he will do?
I think he should go with DAZN. Could you guys hear me?
Yeah,
We hear you loud and clear, man.
Yeah, I think he should go with DAZN. That's where the money's at. You get a fight with Canelo rematch. That's obviously going to do great numbers. I was just listening in, man. I don't think Canelo is just going to walk through Danny Jacobs, man. He's a solid competitor. He has good footwork. He has a good ring IQ. He's been in tough fights too. So as Canelo, I think will win though. But it's not going to be he's not just going to walk through him.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the only person that thinks that Jacobs actually has a decent chance to beat Canelo. I really think he has.
No. I hold on. I'm gonna jump on that. I'm gonna jump on that train with you, brother. You ain't right.
Yeah, man. There's lots of. We need some more passengers on that train. I think Jacobs has a good chance. I think he's got all the tools he has to use, and I think he learned from that Triple G fight, and I think he's been waiting to have another opportunity to put things right. And I think that against Canelo, who's a smaller fighter, has got shorter reach. I think that he will fight a smart fight in there, and he will. I don't think he'll fight the Triple G fight. I think he'll fight. He'll think he will stick with the jab, stay away from Canelo's body shots, and make sure that he doesn't get hit with the body shots. I think Canelo is going to aim for the body. He's going to aim straight for the body. So,
I really.
I hear you though, Edgeno, but we got to be honest with ourselves, man. Jacob's last two fights, man, he got drawn into a war. Both of them, Derevchenko and parts of the Selecki fight. He was sitting in there and trading. You're doing that with Canelo, he is going to knock your ass out.
That's exactly, and that's the point I was trying to make. I don't think he'll be doing the same thing with those guys. I don't think he rated those guys as much. And I think with Canelo, he knows that if he goes into a slugfest, it's not going to end well for him. That's because he can get dropped. He got dropped by Triple G. He'll get dropped.
Right.
I think.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, my brother.
No, let Battle go.
Okay, go ahead, Battle.
Well, I'll put it this way: if Danny Jacobs fight the perfect fight, I mean at least perfect fight good enough for Jacobs, he's still gonna lose, and I don't mean that on politics. I think there's a certain type of fighters that have all the skills in the world, they just don't do enough, and that's like Erislandy Laura and Austin Trout. They come in there each time thinking they fight, but they don't put themselves in a better fight for the judges. Like they keep thinking they're getting robbed, and the people have it out for them. The only person I just think that the judges really have it out for is Adrian Granados, because he actually fights hard in every fight. But there are certain people where they will fight well, but they just don't do it good enough. And Danny Jacobs is one of them people. So I feel like personally, he probably won't even get knocked out, but he still wouldn't win. And I don't even mean that on a robbery sense.
Okay.
He didn't fight good enough.
I do think Laura was robbed against Canelo. I'm just gonna put that out there. That's the conversation for another time. I just wanna give my thoughts on that. But go ahead, my brother.
I really want to get into like facts and reality here. You were fighting against Canelo Alvarez, and this is the problem, right? It's very unlikely Canelo gets knocked out. It's very unlikely. I don't care how hard Jacobs hits. I think Canelo's got the best chin in boxing. Anyone can be knocked out. We've seen it happen. But it's very unlikely he gets knocked out. So he has to win on points, right? Even if you beat Canelo, right? If you beat Canelo, but by winning each round 12 punches to 0, there was a chance you were going to draw this fight. And I don't care what anybody says. Floyd Mayweather literally beat him every single fucking round, and a judge gave it a draw. And it wasn't like he beat him by 1 or 2 punches per round. It was 6 or 7. And it was a draw on a judge's scorecard. That's reality. Let me finish, right? The reality of boxing is politics plays a fucking part. Whether we want to live in a fantasy or not, Canelo is politically the most favoritized fighter in all of fucking boxing. And we all know that. There's an asterisk on nearly every one of his decision wins at world level. There's an asterisk.
Okay. So McGregor Boxing is just going to donate £5 for the swearing he's put in his last comments.
What, you got a swear jar here, Edno?
No, I was joking about the swear jar.
But... No, I was just saying that maybe I'm in the minority, but I don't think he won every round. It's just like I said, it's a Mayweather effect where people just think when Mayweather just looks good, a couple of rounds he wins rounds. I think he dominated Canelo, no doubt. Probably 9 rounds to 3 or either 8 rounds to 4. But when it comes to Canelo, he is right. Canelo has the asterisk on every single win.
I'll correct myself. I gave it 10 rounds.
You good? You don't need to. I understand.
My bad.
Yeah, but
I gave it 10 rounds to 2.
All right, let's go full circle here and go back to Triple G signing with DAZN to fight Canelo Alvarez, or go with PBC to fight Charlo. I think what you guys made is an interesting point, because there was a narrative out there that Triple G should go and sign with PBC because there's potentially more money with a pay-per-view, and also that if he goes and beats Charlo, then he can always go to DAZN because that Triple G fight will be there. That Canelo fight will be there. But an interesting point is that what you mentioned is that if he fights Charlo and he loses, then he's not going to get that Triple G fight. However, if he goes and fights Triple G in DAZN and loses to... Sorry, if he goes and fights Canelo on DAZN and loses to Canelo, then the Charlo fight will always be there down the line.
But can I just throw in a devil's advocate, by the way, just to throw in?
Yeah.
What if he lost to Andrade? He's fucked.
Yeah, if he loses to Andrade, then I mean, to be honest with you, I think if he loses to Andrade, I think the Triple G, I think the Canelo fight will still be there.
I don't care what anyone says. I think Andrade can beat him. By the way.
Well, let me put it to you like this. I mean, how can Triple G be proved if he loses to Andrade if he signs a 2-fight deal?
You can't hear you. You're gone.
Phil, you're breaking up.
Somebody to say that it is. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's no getting screwed in that situation. If you sign a 2 or 3 fight deal for $40-something million, even if you lose, that money is still there guaranteed. There's no either way. I think his safest bet, because of where he is in his career, is to chase the money and at the same time chase the fight that he can get. Just see where he falls after that. To me, he should sign a 2-fight deal, and then possibly on the 3rd fight he fights maybe like somebody on pay-per-view, but he'll be a free agent. That's just my opinion.
Look, this is just like how business works. He can get a 2-fight deal all he wants. I guarantee you it's not a win or lose 2-fight deal. I guarantee you it's not. If he goes to DAZN, there's no way Eddie Hearn's going to give him Andrade, and if you lose, you get Canelo. It's going to be if you win, you get Canelo, but you have to beat Andrade. Because he has the chance to make Andrade a star.
I think that's where it's going to come down to, and I think it'll be the same deal with PBC, because if he loses the tune-up fight against a no-name, I can't think of any other middleweights he can fight at 160 that PBC's got. Maybe you guys can help me, but
he ain't losing to a no-name. He ain't losing to a no-name. He's only losing to champions and #1 contenders.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he does lose to a no-name, for
Are we
example,
still
then the Charlo fight is not going to happen. He's not going to get the Charlo fight in pay-per-view. That's not going to sell.
Are we still talking about Triple G?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if he goes, because the 2-fight deal is not a guaranteed deal in regards to he will get that money no matter what. I think it's to do with, it's on condition of him winning the fight. Because if he goes to PBC and loses to, I don't know, a tune-up fight, then they're not going to offer him, he's not going to go on pay-per-view. Who's going to want to watch that? Who's going to pay for it as well? It's $75 over there, right?
Yeah. No, you have a point, man. I think that Triple G's best bet. Just sign to DAZN. If they offer Andrade, I mean, I don't know if he'll lose to Andrade, but take the fight. And if you win, then go for Canelo. I mean, at this point in this stage of his career, I think it's safe to say that he should be gambling with his career right now because he's in the later, stages of it. So,
I mean, it's very simple. If he wants legacy and money, then you go to DAZN. If you just want the paycheck and that's it, then you go and sign with PBC. And this is the thing with PBC as well. You have to understand as well. PBC, I mean, if he goes to sign with PBC and he faces Charlo on pay-per-view, then is people actually going to pay for that on pay-per-view? Do you know what I mean? There's no belt on the line. There's no championship on the line. Triple G is not a pay-per-view standalone star. And Charlo has never been on pay-per-view. So where is the interest? The interest is that whoever wins will face Canelo on DAZN. So then effectively you're trying to convince people to pay $75 to watch a fight so they could potentially face Canelo that you pay £10 to watch. It don't make I don't know. That don't make sense.
Well, hold on. Now that he fought Canelo twice, there's a possibility that he might have a bigger draw. We just don't know yet because he hasn't, fought anybody since. So there is a possibility that he could be a bigger draw than what he was before fighting Canelo.
But that's the risk though. That's the risk though, and that's part of the reason why Canelo signed the DAZN deal, not staying on pay-per-view, because it's guaranteed money. And the fighters always say, do you know what? I'd rather have guaranteed money in the bank than to rely on a pay-per-view where there's no guarantee that I'm going to get the money that you guys are telling me I'm going to get. That's the question. It's a risk. You have to put the money up front, so that at least if the pay-per-view fails, they're going to get money. But then it's only, that will define the whole purpose of pay-per-view. That means the whole pay-per-view model will be irrelevant if you're doing that. Do you know what I mean? Then you might as well go to DAZN, because that's their model. Their model is they anticipate how much you're going to get on pay-per-view, and we're going to pay you what you would get if you was on pay-per-view. So if PBC does the same thing, then what's the point of having pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's no point. So either way, the way you look at it, if you're Triple G sitting there looking at each deal, then the logical one would be DAZN.
Can I be honest, man? I really don't give a shit who Triple G fights next. I'm really not.
You want to see the third Canelo fight. Come on. Don't pretend. You're going to go get DAZN if it comes on.
To be honest, I would much rather see him fight Charlo. But if we're thinking about business-wise and whatever, then yeah, go ahead and go fight, on DAZN and get money. But if as a fan, what fight I would much rather see would be Charlo versus Triple G, just to see who knocks who out. And then, maybe Andrade versus Jacobs. That's more of a fight I would like to see. That'd be like a little chess match. And Canelo fight Billy Joe Saunders. That would be the fights that I would much rather see than
I would like to see Triple G and Andrade, to be honest with you, because I want to see him in a proper fight. Do you know what I mean? In a real fight. I mean, Saunders didn't happen.
I think
he might. But I just want to see him in a proper fight. Do you know what I mean? He's a champion. He's a world champion, and I want to see if how he'll do against someone like a Triple G. Do you know what I mean?
I think he'll probably stop Andrade, just for the simple fact Andrade he's been dropped before, and yeah, granted they were, good fighters. I guess you could say the only person who just wasn't, if you don't rate him as good, that's probably the German guy. But I think he stops Andrade. Andrade just hasn't been in those trenches yet. and he's going to have a rude awakening when he gets in there with Triple G. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing I'm interested in seeing. I want to see him getting challenged and see what he can do against those. I mean, the Charlo fight, I think Triple G versus the Charlo, I think that would be a good fight as well. But I think that, you know, like I like to see fights where there's at least something on the line. Do you know what I mean? Where there's, you know, if he fights Charlo, then what happens from there? People will still want to see, you know, they still want to see the Triple G fight, or they want to see him fight for a belt. So, you know, they still has to go to the zone. You know, that's where all the belts are. So let's have a look at the chat. Hey, Lawrence Williams in the chat. It's all good. We're just talking about, we was talking about Kovalev, Alvarez earlier, but now we're talking about Triple G. We're talking about PBC's offer. We're talking about DAZN's offer. We're saying, what should he do? What should he take? So that's what we're on. That's what we're discussing at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, there's loads of potential fights Triple G can do. He's 36 years of age. He ain't got much longer to do. But there's loads of fights he's liking to see. If you was to rank the fights that Triple G fights right now that you would like to see 1, 2, 3, which one would you prefer to do?
Who do you want to go first on this?
I'm biased. You go first.
I'd rate Charlo as 1. Then I would like to see Billy. I wanted to see Billy Joe Saunders, but that's not gonna happen. And then so that Billy Joe Saunders is 2. Andrade is number 3. And then Jacobs is number 4, and Canelo is never. I don't want to see that shit again.
Yeah, fair enough. Seen it twice, right? So, all right then. Yeah, but Phil, what about you?
I'd probably have to say Andrade first, Charlo second, and third, I'd probably go Billy Joe Saunders.
Okay. You know, so all right then. So, Battle, what do you think?
I think I would rather see Triple G versus Charlo first. Maybe Andrade second, and then you have Danny Jacob rematch, and that's the third one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I would say Andrade number 1, Charlo number 2, and number 3 I would like, it's gonna be between Billy. No. Change that. I would like to see Andrade number 1, Billy Joe Saunders number 2, and Charlo number 3. That's what I would like to see. I think that Billy Joe needs to be in the mix. I think he needs to be up there because he's very good. I think he needs to be in the mix for sure. And that's who that's my picks. Who, you know, what I think is going to happen anyways in regards to that. So yeah. So you guys got any more comments on the Triple G? Or final comments before we go to the next one? Hello.
No, man. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care what Triple G does with his career. I'm kind of over the whole hype of Triple G. Obviously, I'll watch his fights, no doubt. You know what I mean? Because I'm a boxing fan, so I'll watch Triple G versus Charlo or whoever he fights. But I'm not gonna be screaming for his fights. You know what I mean? I don't really care.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I will say this before we switch gears.
Yeah.
If we can get the Triple G, and I'm talking about the shape he was in, the skill level he was fighting at, if we can get the Triple G that fought against Kell Brook, which I think that probably was the best Triple G I'd ever seen, just as far as him being crisp, him being in shape, you cutting off the ring and everything. If we can get a Triple G like that, I would probably be a little bit more excited to see him fight, somebody like Canelo again, number 3. Actually have a chance to beat Canelo. But based off his last 2 performances, I just think it's evident that he's slowing down. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. So anyone else got nothing? I mean, I think it's very interesting to see. I think it's still a little bit left in the tank. And I think that 2 fights is probably the last fights he's probably going to do before he retires, because I think after the 2 fights, I don't think he's going to get any more deals because he's going to be 36 years of age. So I think that 2 fights, DAZN against world championship fights, and then call it a day, and then he can cut it, and he'll still be in the history books. So I think he'll still be a legend for fighting, you know. But I think that will be it for Triple G in regards to that. Go to DAZN, Triple G. If I was you, take the money, fight for the championships, and then call it a day. And then let the young'uns take over. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's go switch gears a little bit now. Let's talk about, you know, what's going on with, you know, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Wilder, Dillian White, Miller, Ortiz. What's going on in the heavyweight division? You know, we have to talk about it. There's always news happening. Eddie Hearn's coming out in interviews saying that, oh, you know, it's going to be between Dillian White and was it Gerald Miller? You got Ortiz saying stuff about, you know, I want to put his hand in the mix. That's unlikely though, because it's going to be Miller or White. I think they're deep in negotiations with that. So, I mean, he says he's going to make a decision over the weekend. What do you guys think is going to happen? I personally think it's going to be Gerald Miller. They put an offer. I think Gerald Miller is going to accept it. I think that's going to happen. What do you guys think? Also, before you say, let me just say it in the chat. Hey, Lawrence, you said you favor Andrade over Triple G at this stage because of movement and his jab slightly. So that's what. And also he's saying that Triple G should go on to DAZN. And also he says that he's got Kovalev to win by unanimous decision. So we're going to be watching it on this weekend. So hopefully I'm going to do a show this Sunday where I'm going to be talking about it. So come on Sunday, and then if you're right, then hey, we want to see. If not, then come on, and then you can get some crow. So yeah, anyways, what do you guys think about back to the Miller Joshua situation? What's going on? You know, if he fights in the States, obviously you guys are from the States. Are you guys would you guys be excited if he comes to the stateside and he fights Miller?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight for him just to get his name out here. But am I excited for it? No. I mean, I know he's gonna knock Miller out. So you know, it's gonna be a good fight for as long as it lasts. But yeah, you know, it's good. It's good for him to come to America, get his name going, and then possibly set up a fight with Wilder next if he accepts the terms.
So this is the reality of what could happen. Yeah, it could be in May. It's in May if you've got Wilder versus Fury, and a few weeks later in June you could have Anthony Joshua versus Miller. Both are going to be in New York. One at Barclays, one at Madison Square Gardens. Yeah, you've got £40 to spend and you only can go to one fight. Which fight are you going to go to? Who wants to go first? Hello? Which one? Hey, Battle wants to go first. You go. That's it. Go on.
What was the again?
I said you got the possibility of 2 fights happening in the space of a few weeks. You've got Wilder Fury happening at Barclays in New York, and then you've got Anthony Joshua happening a few weeks later in June in Madison Square Garden. You've got £40 to spend. You can only go to one fight. Which fight would you go to?
I think I would probably just go to Wilder Fury, just for the simple fact that the first one was actually competitive. And, you know, what was the second one? Did you say AJ versus Miller or AJ versus
AJ versus Miller? Both of them are going to be in New York. So, you know, you can only choose one fight to go to. What fight would you rather go to?
I would rather go to Wilder versus Fury. Just seeing how the first fight was. It was competitive. I just want to see who gets that win. What I do agree that probably AJ versus Miller will probably be more entertaining, but I kind of feel like it's just more in my mind that AJ would win. He would have a tough fight, but he would still win. And with Wilder versus Fury, I'm not so entirely sure. The decision was so controversial that I just wouldn't really know. So as far as that, I probably would just go see Wilder and Fury. It would be pretty cool seeing what type of fans come as well. You know, see who sit ringside to see what type of game plan game plan the opponents decided to get for each other, considering the first fight.
Yeah. I mean, you got Lawrence Williams. He's saying Wilder Fury. He will choose. That's the fight that he would rather go to. So, hey, so what about you, Phil?
Fury and Wilder Fury, however you want to call it. I definitely would go see that one because to me, it's a fight of the unknown. You don't know how it's going to turn out, and it's just a more significant fight for the division overall. So I would definitely go and see that one, just because this how it would just change the division overall, man. The first fight was controversial. The first fight was great, and I don't see how anybody would pass up a chance to go and see that fight, especially this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree with that. I'd probably go see Wilder versus Fury because, like everybody's saying, we don't know the outcome. I mean, we all expected Wilder to knock Fury out in 5 rounds, but that's not how it went. He got outboxed, and so yeah,
I didn't expect that though.
Yeah, exactly.
I called it a 50-50 fight from the beginning. I said, with a fighter like Tyson Fury, no matter what he's going through, no matter his past, you just can't count him out because he's that good of a fighter and he's just that unpredictable. So I called it 50-50 the first time around. And again, it's 50-50 again for sure this time. So we'll see.
I think it's 60-40 in the favor of Fury because the boxer usually beats the puncher in the rematch easier. I mean, that's how it is. But
yeah. I mean, I agree. I think in the first fight I chose Wilder because I thought that Fury was not going to be the same Fury as he was before. So, and I thought he was going to knock him out in the 11th round. And I was nearly right. He knocked him down in the 12th. So I was close. But I think that this time round, looking at Tyson Fury, he's got a 6-pack. I mean, this guy's looking like Anthony Joshua, coming out looking bodybuilder, So I think that Fury's taking it very seriously. He's obviously been in the gym working out. He's made sure he's not put on the weight. And I think that in the second fight, I think he will beat Wilder in the second fight. I don't think it's going to be 60-40. I'm thinking it's going to be 70-30, more or less, in that percentage-wise. But Wilder always has that equalizer. He always has that one shot to knock somebody out. So it could happen again. But yeah, that's what makes it interesting. I mean, who would I go for? If I had one ticket and I can go to what fight, which one would I go for? And do you know what? I'll probably go into Wilder Fury. Just because it's the bigger fight, more significant fight. But then that poses another question. Because all you guys said that you'd rather go to Fury Wilder versus the AJ fight. So if that's the case, should AJ fight in the UK? What's the point of going to the States if no one ain't going to go to his fight?
Well, we were just saying because we know the outcome. We all know that AJ is going to stretch Big Baby Miller brutally. We could see that vividly. But with Wilder versus Fury, we don't know the outcome because of what happened last time. You know what I mean? So it's more of a gamble. That makes it more intriguing to go watch. Like that's the difference right there. For me, at least.
So Ortiz wants to put his name in the hat to fight AJ, as the other fighters still make their minds. Do you think Ortiz would be a better challenge than for AJ then? Would that sway you? Would that fight sway you in regards to making you more likely to go to that fight rather than Wilder Fury?
That's a tough one.
There's not a tough one for me. I'm going to see AJ and Ortiz in a fight that was been supposed to happen. Me personally, it gives me a chance to watch Luis Ortiz, which is my personal favorite heavyweight. Then it gives me a chance to watch one of the best heavyweights in Anthony Joshua. To me, it's just something that I would just need to see for myself personally.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? I think for Ortiz right now, I think they should set him up with Konaki, man. Those two should fight. You know what I mean? So we could see where Ortiz is at.
I don't think so, man.
Why not?
That's
Why not, man?
That's gonna be a wash. Man. That's gonna be a wash, man. I'll be honest with you, man. And just to go back to, and I'll get back to what you said about that. I think, either way, I think AJ still should come fight here in the States because either way, he's going to sell out Madison Square Garden. He's just that big of a star. So I don't think it'll affect the outcome of people going to see the fight. You know what I'm saying? Whether, you got Fury and Wilder one weekend, and then, 2 or 3 weekends later, you have AJ. AJ still he's going to sell the arena out without a doubt. And, you got to think about it. Big Baby is from out that way. So I don't see it affecting the outcome as far as the attendance, the ticket sales, or anything like that. So, I mean, it's a win-win for whatever fight you decide to go see personally. Kanaki, Ortiz will wash this guy. I mean, like an old pair of dirty draws. Like, he will wash them. Easy work for Ortiz.
Why do you think that? Why?
I mean, to me, the guy needs it because right now he's kind of in the tier of level 3 tier. To me personally, he hasn't had that step up fight to me that makes me say he can go and beat one of the top 5 heavyweights in the world. Maybe somebody may have a difference of opinion, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening whatsoever. Who knows?
No, you're right. I agree. I think Kaonaki is in that 3rd tier of heavyweights. I think you've got the top tier, which we all know who they are. Then you've got the 2nd tier, which, we've got then Ortiz is in there, Miller, Dillian White.
How do you get to the 2nd tier, though? You got to fight. How do you get to the 2nd tier? You got to fight the 2nd tier guys. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Put him in there.
You could probably put Luis Ortiz at 1st tier. Because he fought 2nd tier guys and he beat them. So
he hasn't fought. He hasn't. No, he hasn't. He hasn't fought Parker.
Yeah, but he's beat 2nd tier fighters. He beat Brian Jennings. He beat Brian Jennings.
2nd tier. What are you talking about?
He's like 3rd tier.
Are you kidding me?
He's not even 3rd tier, man. He ain't even 3rd
tier.
Hold
on. I will say this. When he beat Jennings was a 2nd tier.
Nah, he wasn't 2nd tier.
Exactly my
tier, man. You weren't.
How is he not? How is he 3rd tier? How is he 3rd tier? If you're talking about somebody as far as 3rd tier, then you're going off resumes, right?
Before that.
Yes, we are going off resume. Yes, continue.
Then how can you put Konaki there? Konaki should be 2nd tier because he actually beat a 3rd tier fighter, so he should be automatically moved up.
Who did Konaki beat? Pete was 3rd. That was 2nd tier.
I said he beat 3rd tier fighters, which is Charles Martin and Joe Washington. So shouldn't you put him up on the list?
No, he has to get to 2nd tier. He has to get to that 2nd tier fighter. So for example, Ortiz is 2nd tier. So he's in line to face for a World Heavyweight Championship. So if Kaonaki wants to get into that 2nd tier to fight a World Heavyweight Championship, he has to beat someone in 2nd tier. So if he goes and beats Ortiz, let's say Ortiz versus Kaonaki is next, and Kaonaki beats Ortiz, that automatically puts him in that 2nd tier, and he should be challenging for a Heavyweight Championship. Do you know what I mean?
So are we going to say when AJ beat Dillian White was the 1st tier fighter?
No, but AJ wasn't a world champion when he fought Dillian White the first fight. They weren't champions, so he was. So there was no tear because he wasn't a.
Well, this is the only reason I want to see Konaki versus.
Hold up. I got a question real quick. My question is because right now we're debating 1st tier and 2nd tier. This is my question for you guys right here. Okay, is Dillian White a 1st tier or a 2nd tier fighter?
He's right now he's 1st tier.
He's 1st tier.
He's 1st tier. He's 1st tier. So all right, let's just general guideline of what's 1st tier, 2nd tier.
Before you say something, let me just mention it. When you say 1st tier, when I say 1st tier fighters are Wilder, Fury, and AJ. They're 1st tier. So you're saying that Miller is up there with those 3?
Nah, but no, Dillian White is though. I think so.
He's up there. Ortiz should be 1st tier because he actually beat names. When you look at the guy the third tier. It should be the third tier guys, in my opinion, should be people that just don't really have a lot of good wins on their resume.
Ortiz doesn't have a lot of good wins on his resume. He literally has
No,
one.
yeah, it's a lot better considering the state of heavyweight division. You know, if we're being honest.
I mean, if you're talking about resumes,
Be
if
honest.
you're talking,
Let's just be honest. I don't judge his tier based off his resume. It's just not that. To me, it's just not that deep personally. I mean, I'm judging him first tier or second tier or whatever based off his skill set. I mean, because honestly, it's really only about maybe 10 heavyweights that's even worth mentioning. So the tiers aren't that big to begin with. So a lot of this is going to be predicated based on just what we think their skill level is. That's all I'm saying.
No,
so before you say something, I was going to go into the chat quickly. What was it? Lawrence Williams says only got £40 to choose. It can only pick one. Yeah, I said £40 because we're looking for the cheap seats at the back. But if you're looking for them premium seats, who would you want to go for? So and also he said AJ should have fought Miller last year in the US instead of Povetkin. I agree. I wouldn't mind if AJ faced Miller next year. Then that probably would have pushed the Wilder fight more possibility because he's got more known in the US. And also, Big Baby Miller is relatively unknown in his own city. He would have to do some heavy-duty promoting for that fight. Yes, I agree. If the Big Baby Miller fight does happen, I think he will do some heavy promoting. And Big Baby Miller's got a big mouth on him. He's going to promote the hell out of this fight. He will promote the hell out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to fight Anthony Joshua at the press conference for a table. Miller is a wild dude. He's a crazy guy. Do you know what I mean? So... sorry guys, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, so the only reason I want to see Konaki fight Ortiz is because I want to see how Ortiz deals with that inside fighting, just coming forward, getting all in your grill, and just laying bombs on you. And I mean, we could say what we want about Konaki, but he's been getting rid of the same competition that these other guys have been fighting and doing it more impressively. I'm not saying that he's stronger, he's a better fighter than these other guys, but I think he deserves a shot to see where he really is at. And Ortiz, to me, is not at the top echelon of heavyweight. He should be the tester because, let's be honest, I don't think he could beat Ortiz versus Fury. I think Fury dances on Ortiz because we've seen Ortiz he struggles with any boxer that has movement. We've seen it with Dave Allen. We saw it with Kaufman when he just fought that guy. He was moving around. He was getting frustrated, smashing his chest.
Are you talking about these guys he just stopped? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, no, but
come on, man, get out of here, man.
I'm saying
he stopped these guys, man.
Right.
Yeah, but Phil, if we're being fair, I mean, if we're being fair,
me that a fighter has trouble with somebody that he has stopped. It's just,
but Phil, if we're on the question,
hey guys, I'm finding it hard to hear you guys. You guys are breaking up a little bit, so let's start with one. Phil, what was you saying?
No, it's just ridiculous to say a fighter has trouble with somebody.
Okay, so but let me combat that though. So then nobody could say anything about Deontay Wilder. He's never struggled with any fighter because he's knocked them out, and he struggles with pretty much anybody who has arms and legs. So I mean,
hold on, no, but see, hold up. That is ridiculously false. What he does is, let me tell you something. And I know you don't like Deontay Wilder because he's not a boxing guru, but you cannot tell me that anybody that has 39 knockouts is a fighter that has struggled with other fighters. He's stopping these guys. He is stopping these guys. He may be getting outboxed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're having trouble with these guys. What you're doing is you're picking your time to land your shot. In that case, you can say George Foreman struggled with half the people he fought. I mean, let's just be real about this, man. Just because you don't like his boxing ability doesn't mean he's struggling because he's getting outboxed most of his fights. That is not called struggling.
Well,
when you get stopped, brutal fact, you got dominated. When you get stopped, you are dominated. That's the realness about it.
I'm gonna disagree with that.
You mentioned George. But let me put it this way. You mentioned George Foreman. If we're going to be honest, George Foreman was never really dominated until like the very end of his career when you fought Tommy Morrison, and then they fought Shannon Briggs. He won that fight. I don't care what a lot of people say. He won that fight. So when it comes to like George Foreman, when he struggled, it's not in the sense that a person was just severely up on him. I guess the only person you can actually say was really up on him was Alex Stewart because he was throwing so many crazy combinations. But when it comes to George Foreman, he almost always just either obliterated his opponent and was winning the fight in almost every fashion. And you could say that with Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, and you could say that with what's another good name, George Chuvalo. So when it comes to Tyson versus Fury, you can bring up previous past opponent because you know what intangible this Tyson Fury has. He has a chin. We can agree that Ortiz may be a hard puncher, but is he a harder puncher than Wilder? I'm pretty sure most of us can agree that he isn't. So if Fury can fight somebody that has a better punch and still get up and then come back, it's a good chance that he can beat Ortiz. So,
and this is the thing, because now it's going to be a dilemma because PBC has got 3 fighters that are in the I'll say like 3 fighters overall. We've got 1 in the 2nd tier and 2 in the 3rd tier, which I'll say is Joe Joyce and Kownacki. And they all need to fight each other to see who is going to be up to that next stage. And I think that it comes down to which fighter does Al Heyman believes has the best chance of winning a world heavyweight championship. That's what it comes down to. Because they can't fight. Right. They have to fight. They can't keep on fighting unknown fighters. They have to eventually fight each other or fight the 2nd tier fighters to get to the next stage. So the question is, who do you think out of Kownacki, Joe Joyce, and Ortiz has the best chance of winning a world heavyweight championship?
But that's why I think they should fight each other because, in my personal opinion, I don't think any of those guys could beat Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, or Deontay Wilder. And in Deontay Wilder's case, he already beat Ortiz, right? And I mean, Phil might not agree with it, but I don't think Ortiz has the feet to beat somebody like Tyson Fury. I don't see it, right? And AJ, you guys could say he has a shot at, but I think AJ beats him too. So I think those guys should mix it up, see who's the top guy, then go after one of the champions or fight your way to the top of the ranks and earn your shot. But don't say you're being ducked when you're not earning your shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, because I agree, because it needs to get to a stage now where Al Heyman needs to try and do something. They needs to try to say, okay, I got Kownacki. Obviously, he's got Deontay Wilder on his side, which is the world heavyweight champion. So obviously, as long as Wilder's on that side, there's always a chance to fight for a world heavyweight championship. But it gets to a stage where now that, you've got other fighters now that, they want to fight Deontay Wilder and they want to fight AJ because AJ is where the money is. Let's keep it real. So it's going to get to a stage where all 3 of them is going to have to fight each other at some point. So obviously, right now, I don't think any of them will have a chance against the top fighters right now. But if I was to pick one and say which one would I say has got the best chance of winning, I would say the one that looks most impressive so far is Kownacki. He's looked the most impressive. We have to keep it real. He beat Gerald Washington in 2 rounds, and it took Wilder 5 rounds to beat him. And he's beaten, Spilka in 4? Yeah. And it took him how many rounds for Wilder to beat Spilka?
9 rounds, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're looking at comparisons, I think that Kownacki is doing what he's had to do, and he's doing it in quicker, more effective fashion than what Wilder's doing. So I think that he has the one that's got the most upside and the one that can cause the most problems. And his style is probably going to be a different style than what Wilder has faced before. And I think that will pose many challenges for Wilder because he's going to be in his face all the way. And it's going to be hard for him to throw the right hand that he's used to because he needs to get some space to get to him. But then if he needs the space to use the right hand, and if he doesn't have that space to use the right hand, and Kownacki's all up in his face, then that's going to be difficult. And is Wilder good at fighting in the inside? I don't
No.
know. I don't think he is good at fighting from the inside. And that's where the problem is. And that's why I think that Kownacki will be the best person out of the three to win, to have a chance at winning for the heavyweight title.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, Deontay Wilder would be his best bet, in my opinion, for a title shot, because I don't think he could beat Anthony Joshua. So,
So Lawrence Williams in the chat saying he wants to see Kownacki versus Andy Ruiz while he waits for his shot. Andy Ruiz, what do you think about that?
That's a good fight too. That's a good fight, I think. But I don't know if Andy Ruiz wants to just jump into that. I think he did an interview on the Boxing Voice, and he said that he wants to take it kind of slow and let's see where he's at, and then go for the champion. But if he's up for it, then I'll watch it.
That's the question. That's the why, because he said he's going to want to take it slow. Kownacki, is that slow?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like that's not slow. So unless he thinks that Kownacki is like a tune-up, which I don't think he is, I think you should. If Kownacki is someone you need to take seriously, so I don't think Ruiz. I think if he does want to take it, I think that'll be a good fight for Kownacki. I think that'll be a good fight. I like it if it happens. But if it was to compare with other fights down the line, I think that if I was Kownacki, if I was managing his career, and he wants the Wilder fight, I would eliminate the options. I would eliminate all Wilder's options. Let's have a look, Phil. Phil just said in the chat, just clocked in for work. All right, cool, man. Put your headphones in at work. Your boss won't notice you're listening to the show. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, if I was managing his career and I said, okay, Kownacki, like, you want the best routes for a world heavyweight championship, yeah? If I was him, I'll be looking at fighting Dominic Brazil or fighting Luis Ortiz. They're both on PBC. Speak to Al Heyman. See about making it happen. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, that's
Then you say you got Charles Martin beating Luis Ortiz.
Well, who said that?
No, that was Edmund, I think.
What? When did I say that?
You said that earlier on the live stream on World Breakers.
Oh, no. I said no, because what they were saying that they'll think, we're talking about Charles Martin, AJ versus Charles Martin, and Wilder versus Stiverne. And I said, well, like, Stiverne is not this great heavyweight. Let's look at the facts. Like, he won a vacant world. I think it was a vacant world heavyweight championship because Klitschko vacated, and then he defended against Wilder and lost, and then he struggled a few years later, and then he fought again against Wilder, got knocked out in a round, and then as Stiverne's get knocked out in a round, so then
you said
and then I said Charles Martin. They said, oh, is Charles Martin better than Stiverne? I said, Charles Martin versus Stiverne, that'll be a good fight. But if Charles Martin, the Charles Martin that fought Kownacki, that Charles Martin will beat Stiverne.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think you said that Charles Martin could beat Wilder too. I think you did.
Nah, I don't think I said that, man. I didn't go that far.
Look at the video right now.
But I did say I think Charles Martin will beat Stiverne. That's what I said. But I didn't say Wilder. Charles Martin is not at that level, but I think he will beat Stiverne. I don't rate.
I would see if I can find it.
I don't think Stiverne, like, let's look at the facts. Like, he hasn't look at him against Wilder. He got pulverized. The first fight was a decent fight. It went 12 rounds and he caught Wilder a little bit. But the second fight was just annihilation. He got obliterated. Do you know what I mean? So you can't, like, and now he's gonna fight Joe Joyce. Like, Stiverne, he talks a good game. He talks a very good game, but let's have a look and see how he does against Joe Joyce. Because if
So Severn and Charles Martins is like tomato, in my opinion. It's like they're like almost on the same level. I honestly would say Charles Martin would beat him, but Severn's been dropped by literal tomato cans. So I'm saying I think Charles Martin's a better fighter in my opinion than
I
Severn.
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
He did. He got dropped by what's that dude's name again? Fuck that. What's his name?
But I don't know who he is, but
he got dropped.
but
Severn got
Savard
dropped by a
actually.
no-name.
So Savard is as much as you want to get crap on his resume, he actually beat better names than Charles Martin ever did.
He did. We got to say that Severn has he has a better resume. He beat Chris Arreola, and he beat better competition. But as far as we're just looking at his fighting ability, I never really rated him that high,
But also you have to look. That was how many years ago was that? 2015 or something like that. I mean, it's 2019 now, and since that fight, since he's fought Wilder and lost, he hasn't looked good at all. He's been out the ring for like 2 years, fought, and then he came back a year later, lost, and now he's gonna fight Joe Joyce again. So really, he hasn't really shown improvement. At least Charles Martin has showed improvement against Karnowski, because when he fought Karnowski, that went 12 rounds. And Karnowski, look what he's done to Spilka, look what he's done to Gerald Washington. Do you know what I mean? So you have to kind of rate Charles Martin there, motivated, hungry, determined, that will beat this Devern, what we're seeing right now.
Hey, Edgeno, I found it, bro.
Hey, Derek Rossi was the dude who dropped Devern. And that dude, he's a bum, man. So I mean, it really is what it is. I'm not high on Severn, but he did beat Chris Arreola, which is it's a good win. So
yeah. Hey, I found what you said. Charles Martin could probably beat Wilder.
Okay, yeah. If I did say that, then
I don't know. Yeah, let me play it. Let me play it.
Yeah, play it.
All right.
Yeah, you tripping, Charles.
Let me know what I was saying, man. I don't know what I was saying that time. Let's have a look.
Did you really say that?
I was probably trolling that time, man. I don't even know what I was doing there.
Well, go ahead, play it, Battle.
I played it. You guys didn't hear it?
No.
Hold on. Let me see if I can try to play it on the TV or something. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Okay, just let me know when you're back. Yeah, if I did say Charles Martin can beat Wilder, I weren't serious, man. I weren't serious about that.
Because
man. No, I weren't saying it with seriousness. I think when I was on that show, do you know what I mean? Like, I was just trying to make a point to Blue Blood, like, because it was just talking some stuff about, it was just talking lower stuff, man. And I don't
know why you go on that channel, man, because they're never gonna respect anything that you say, man. Because those guys are biased, man. You gotta call it how it is, man. You gotta be real.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I don't know Blue Blood, but I know World Breaker personally, and look, me and him have different opinions, but I appreciate him coming on. And he knows like I'm not gonna come in just to beat opinions. I know that they're gonna trash on my opinions and stuff, but at least they give me at least they're not like, I'm gonna block you for having different opinions and stuff. So I appreciate World Breaker for doing it in that sense. But Blue Blood's like, I don't know the guy. I'm not gonna trash him and all that. But sometimes he just comes out with certain stuff, and you just have to think, what the hell are you talking about, man? Do you know what I mean? Like, he does sometimes. I'm just have to be like, oh, my head, Like, he got bodied by Eddie Hearn. Like, I can't, like, that. I don't know if you saw that interview when he got bodied by Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn said, what did you think of the fight with Wilder? He goes, I thought it was a draw. He got knocked down, another wins. He goes, no, he said, I thought Wilder won. And he's like, oh, he got two knockdowns and thing. And Eddie Hearn goes, no, that's a draw then, isn't it? He's like, oh yeah, it's a draw. I was like,
he scored the fight for Fury in front of him, man.
Huh?
He scored the fight for Fury. He told Eddie Hearn his scorecard, and he scored the fight for Fury.
Was it for Fury or for what? I think it was something like he said. I think he put it for Wilder, and he said the two knockdowns I had it over the line for Wilder, and he goes, wait a minute, that's a draw then, isn't it? And it's like, oh yeah, it's a draw. And I was like, wait a minute, you literally changed your view as you're talking to Eddie Hearn. Like, come on. Like, you have to come correct if you talk to Eddie Hearn, man. He knows his, people criticize Eddie Hearn, but he knows his stuff. Do you know what I mean? If you say something incorrect, he will pick you up on it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, but yeah, anyways, anyways, enough about that. Yeah, if I was saying that about Charles Martin.
No, I found it.
Okay, go on.
All right.
With this, man, it's just like Kurt said, man, the eye test. Stop talking about who's champion. Do you think that Charles Martin could beat Deontay Wilder? Just answer the question, yes or no. I think he'd go good shots. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, what version?
Yeah, I was trolling. Do you know what? Look, I mean, I was trolling at that point because Blue Blood, man, he wasn't answering my questions. He wasn't answering my questions. Blue Blood wasn't answering my question. He was like, I told him, tell me, is Shelly Finkel lying or not lying? Because I caught him out. I said, Shelly Finkel, you said Shelly Finkel is a reliable person, blah, 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 blah. But he said certain things about Deontay Wilder not wanting to fight Klitschko. So, and he said, so tell me if he's lying or not. And the whole time he was avoiding the question. So then,
I think if we're being honest, you know, I kind of got to defend him here. You know, when it comes to the boxing game, you can't trust a lot of what these promoters say. But I just think it's just more evidence on the have that. You remember, you know, D'Lo, right? The guy in the comments, he put the chat up of, you know, Wilder, you know, and the Fury. No, I'm sorry, the Wilder and Klitschko talk. And Klitschko saying Wilder needs to beat more names. And what does he think of becoming champion? So when it comes to that, as far as the promoters, we can't trust off everything they say, but it's just more evidence on the part that he did indeed duck Wilder, and the fights that could be happening is more. It's more on the hand of. I'm not gonna say it's more.
But
it's more on the hand.
No, but I understand that point. But the point I was trying to make is that you're saying that. Oh, he said that. He was saying that Shelly Finkel don't lie because Shelly Finkel's this. But then he did lie. So then he said one thing that he doesn't lie, and then another thing he's saying that he do you know what I mean? And then he's lying another thing. So also saying, be consistent. If he's lying, say he's lying. Don't come out and say that he never lies. And then when you got caught out in a lie, you don't want to answer the question. That's all I was saying. I know that all promoters and things like that, they don't tell the truth, and you know they're not going to tell the truth all the time. But I just want people to be consistent. If you know what I mean. I don't. People say like I support Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua, but if Eddie Hearn says something on an interview and that's not correct, I'll pick him out on it. Like when he's saying 4 belts, Joshua's got 4 belts. I'm like, no, Eddie Hearn, he's got 3 belts. Like he was criticizing Chris Eubank Jr. when he had the IBO, and he was saying IBO is not even a belt. What's the IBO? But now I think Joshua's got the belt. Oh, it's important now. All of a sudden, we're gonna say 4 belts in every single interview. Do you know what I mean? So like, I'll call people out when they're not being consistent. But I just want other people to be the same. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. But yeah, I was trolling him there because I was trolling him when I said that because he wasn't answering any of my questions. So I was like, do you know what? If you're not even answering any of my questions, I'm just gonna take the mick when you ask me a question. That was pretty much what I was doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're wrong though. Klitschko definitely. Deontay Wilder definitely did not want that fight. Actually, it's funny because I was looking at an article the other day.
No, I agree. Deontay Wilder don't want that.
No, not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Battle.
Oh,
I was looking at an article. I'm trying to find it right now, where Deontay Wilder said out his own mouth, and there's even YouTube videos that he wants to fight Klitschko down the line. Like he didn't want to fight Klitschko at all at the time where after he became a champion. So let's not get it twisted. And Finkel came out and said he's a baby and he's not ready for Klitschko.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just basing it on the interview. I'm saying, look, that's what Shelly Finkel said out of his own mouth. Now, if he's lying, then tell the public that Shelly Finkel is lying. Simple. Like, just say if he's lying, but he didn't want to say it because that will counteract his argument that he said before when he said that Shelly Finkel never lies. Do you know what I mean? Because in the previous conversation me and him had, he said Shelly Finkel never lies. So then if he come back and say Shelly Finkel's lying in that interview, that's gonna counteract what he said before, which he didn't want to do. That's why he never answered the question. Do you know what I mean? So like that's all I was saying is to just to be consistent with that. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's all good. World Breaker's a cool guy. I mean him chat like offline and stuff, so he's a cool guy, man. I haven't got any issues with World Breaker. You know, and Cali Enigma as well. He's a cool guy. Obviously, look, man. They love Wilder. The Wilder protectors. It is what it is. Like I don't, you know, and that's pretty much that, man. But anyway, let's get back to the.
They're Wilder protectors to the point where it's detrimental. Like they wouldn't even bring up the fact that Shannon Briggs offered Wilder $5 million to fight and he turned it down. Nobody wants to talk about that though. Right? I mean, it's like, come on, at a certain point, your champion like four years ago had all this opportunity to fight Klitschko, Shannon Briggs, to build his profile and become this big star. He never did.
This is the thing. This is the thing with, like, look at this. I don't blame Deontay Wilder per se, because I blame the organized. I blame the Al Heyman and the PBC. Now, there's things that PBC that I do like. However, there's things with PBC that I don't like. And the things why I think that I don't like with the PBC is they don't promote the fighters enough. The same thing with ESPN and Top Rank. They don't do it. They don't promote their fighters enough. And they don't, you know, it's like, you know, if you want to make someone into a pay-per-view star, in the UK, it doesn't bother me because I'm getting these fights for free. I got Pacquiao and Broner for free. And I got Keith Thurman and probably Errol Spence and Garcia is going to be free in the UK as well. So I'm not really going to complain. I'm getting it for free. But if you're in the States and you're paying £75 or $75, so to speak, in UK money, then you want to feel like you're getting your money's worth. Do you know what I mean? You want to feel like you get your money's worth, and then you're going to be invested in these boxes. But if you're not getting promoted properly, then how are you going to be invested enough for the casual fan who don't know these fighters as well as the hardcore fans to spend $75? That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look in the chat. Let's have a look and see what's going on. Phil says Blue Blood is a diluted man. He scored as a draw, but we'll pick Wilder for the win. It was 2 million, not 5. Briggs is my guy. Let's go, champ. And Champ Boxer says Wilder will not fight AJ, and Tyson Fury is the boss. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, so Wilder will not fight AJ. I mean, this is the thing with Deontay Wilder. I don't know if you agree with me on this. Yeah, I'm gonna say what this is. Yeah, battle. I don't know if it's still on, but yeah, it's the venue. Now, how I see it is this: like, what happened in the past is in the past. People talk about 50 million, 80, whatever. That's in the past. Now it's 2019. Yeah, Wilder wants to be eventually the unified world champion. Like, if he is interested in fighting AJ, I think he should at least have a conversation with Eddie Hearn and say, do you know what? This is what I want. This is what I need for the fight to happen, and have a discussion to at least be seen or perceived to be doing what he can to make the fight happen. Do you know what I mean? What do you guys think of that?
No, I agree. You know, this whole talk of he doesn't want the fight, but he's the only person sending contracts and trying to make the fight. It's just, at this point, man, I just fight. You know what I mean? Like, just get it over with. Wilder, just take the split, take the percentage. And you know, it's funny, man. The guys that are complaining, saying, "Oh, Wilder shouldn't take the percentage split. He's, you know, who cares if Anthony Joshua is the A side?" These are the same guys that were telling Triple G to take whatever Canelo offers because he is the A side. It's just dumb at this point. You know, I'm American, and I'm still saying Wilder should just take whatever, get the fight. If you really truly believe you could beat Anthony Joshua, then take the money, you beat him, you become the man, and then, you know what I mean, negotiate your other side of the contract in the rematch. But I just don't understand why he isn't taking the fight and just, you know, beating him if he really thinks he can.
But that's what it comes down to, because this is it. Okay, Wilder's got a good excuse. He wants the rematch with Fury to prove that the first fight he should have won, and he wants to do that. So he can get away with it. So let's have a look. But the question is, after that fight is over, and we have a definitive winner between Fury and Wilder, then we're going to see. If Wilder wins, then we're going to see for real if he's interested in fighting AJ. After that fight, if he beats Tyson Fury, the only fight next for him now is AJ. If I see him after that fight, if he beats Tyson Fury, coming out and saying Dominic Brazil, I will never watch another video of Deontay Wilder again. I will not post no Deontay Wilder stuff on my social media. I will not speak of Wilder again. He is not interested in being one face, one name, one champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think that with the situation that he's in now, where he's fighting Tyson Fury, I think he gets a pass on that one because he was trying to make the fight. They both were trying to make the fight, AJ and Wilder. They couldn't come to agreement, so he said, you know what, hey, I'm going to fight Tyson Fury, okay? Everybody didn't anticipate it was going to be such a good fight. It was controversial. So you say, all right, well, I'll tell you what, let's have a rematch. We have a definitive winner. And then from there, if he doesn't fight AJ next, then that's just ridiculous. I mean, let's just call it like it is. But I don't think, to go back to all those negotiation things, I don't think it was one or the other who dropped the ball on it. I think it was a combination of the two. Because, it takes two to tango. So, a lot of people want to play the blame game, AJ. A lot of people want to play the blame game, Wilder's team. But the fact is, they couldn't get a fight. They couldn't make the fight. Those guys went off to fight other opponents. There were good fights, and now you have a chance to see Fury and Wilder again. But if Wilder doesn't take that fight next, then he's going to disappoint a lot of people, and I think he's going to lose a lot of credibility. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, guys, if you guys are watching, hit that like button. If you're new to the show, hit that subscribe button as well and that notification button because we're doing shows on the regular, giving you the latest news in boxing and entertainment this week. Yeah, so definitely Wilder and Fury. Look, he gets a pass. Wilder and Fury, he gets a pass because this is a interesting fight that that people want to see, and there's a lot of buzz about the rematch. So I think there's a fight that we want to see down the line. But it's all about what happens afterwards. I just don't want to hear. My concern is that he's talking a lot about Dominic Brazil. We don't want Dominic Brazil. The WBC has not mandated Dominic Brazil. So there's no need for him to mention Dominic Brazil at all as an opponent. No need. The public don't need it. The public's not interested in it. So there's no need. So my concern is that after the fight with Tyson Fury, he is going to fight Dominic Brazil next. And that's what I don't want.
But to play devil's advocate, we don't know exactly what Anthony Joshua has lined up after his fight with either Dillian White or Big Baby Miller or whoever his opponent may be. Again, it's going to take both these guys to come together and say, hey, if we're both successful in our fights, we need to fight each other next. Again, I'm not just going to hold Deontay Wilder accountable. I'm going to have to hold Anthony Joshua accountable too, because it's obvious that the only fight for both of those guys is one another. So that's we got to play it from both sides. But again, AJ's not mentioning who he's going to fight after he fights either Miller or White. And Wilder's been hitting at Dominic Brazil. So I get where people's coming from. I get your stance where you're saying, hey, Wilder needs to stop talking about Dominic Brazil and just focus on Fury for now. And then after that, definitely you need to fight Anthony Joshua because, again, I don't think AJ is going to lose whether he fights White or whether he fights Miller. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said this before, I think for the Wilder fight to be bigger and more interesting, I think that AJ would need to fight in America. I think that what AJ should do, I don't know if he will do, but I think that what AJ should do, go to America, because the fights are going to be around the same time, 2 weeks before. It's going to be, I think, roughly 2 weeks that the fight's going to happen. I think Wilder Fury is going to be in May, and I think that AJ fight will be in June. So it's going to be a few weeks between each fight. So I think it's a good, and it's going to be in the same area. It's going to be in the same city. So I think that what AJ should do is he should go to the States, trash Deontay Wilder on all the interviews, go hardcore, the same way that Wilder did when he was in the UK, when he trashed AJ. Go to America, trash Wilder and say, Wilder's ducking me, Wilder's not interested in fighting the champ, blah, 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 blah. And then that will put the pressure on. And then while Wilder's in New York with Fury, then they're going to put all the questions to Wilder, and that's going to put more pressure to make the fight happen. Because I think that AJ in New York, he did well in December, but I think he needs to talk more and speak up more to try and sway public opinion and try to make that fight more possible.
Yeah, I think really we just need to wait to see if Wilder actually wins this fight and then go from there, because he might not win this fight. So if we're like trying to, see who's going to fight next and he's not even the champion, it kind of, you know what I mean? We might be looking at Fury to see what he's going to be doing if he's going to fight AJ next. And at that point, I don't think he will fight Anthony Joshua right after fighting Wilder, probably fight, a tune-up or whatever. So, I mean, it really just need to see if Wilder wins the fight.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, who would I want to win, and out of Wilder Fury, who would I want to win? I would say out of the two, I would like, look, as someone from the UK, it would be great if Fury wins. But I think if Fury wins, then I think it makes the fight with Wilder a lot more easier to make. However, I don't think it will have the same significance. So I think that the Wilder Fury, the way the Wilder Fury fight has to happen, that I think that Wilder needs to win. And I think if he wins, then it makes the Wilder Joshua fight more interesting. So, like you said, obviously it's not a foregone conclusion that Wilder's going to win, but it's just I just hope that whoever wins fights AJ next, or tries to attempt to try and make that fight. That's all I hope. That's all I want.
Hey, by any chance, did you guys talk about the Gervonta Davis fight or no?
Oh, no. The Gervonta Davis pulling out.
Abner Mares.
Not pulling out, but Abner Mares pulling out with injury. And Gervonta Davis, he was not happy. I broke the news in the morning. I got the news in the morning that he was out. So I put it in the morning. 2 hours later, Gervonta Davis came on and done a live stream. I put a question to him. I said, do you know that Abner Mares is out injured? He was like, no, the fight's still going ahead. It's still going ahead. So I don't think he received the news, because he went to a flight to LA. As soon as he landed in LA, I think he got the news that the fight ain't happening. Or while the fight ain't happening. So I think that's what's happened. Because he didn't even know the fight wasn't. He didn't even know he was injured. We got the news before he did. I think he was pissed. He was pissed. He's like, why am I the last person to find out that Abner Mares is injured and not me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But it's like, the guy he's fighting, I think he came from the featherweight division. Bantamweight. So it's kind of, at this point, I'm a little fed up with Gervonta Davis, man. I want to see him fight, somebody from the 130-pound division, Fight Burchelt next. Why are you fighting pulling these guys up from the smaller weight classes? It's just irritating.
In Tank's defense, somebody getting hurt, which Abner Mares would have been a great fight for Tank. That would have been something for him to hang his hat on. That's not his fault if somebody backs out or gets hurt. You can't hold someone accountable for someone else's actions or mistakes or injuries. Maybe this guy just was the next guy that was available. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Right,
you can't say, hey, yeah. But again, I think you do have a point. We do need to see him step up and fight someone that can really, really give him a challenge and challenge him, challenge his ability, push him to the brink of, his complete overall boxing skills and abilities. We do need to see that from him. We see
You're
the
right.
potential, but we need to see the opponent.
Right. You're right in the sense that. Okay, go ahead. No, I was gonna say that you're right in the sense that Abner Maris did pull out. He got injured. No, you're 100% correct. It's not Tank Davis's fault, but personally, I didn't really want to see the Abner Maris fight in the first place because he's also coming up from a smaller weight class. I just want to see Davis fight, Burchell, Machado. Somebody that we could be like, okay, yeah, Tank is definitely that guy at 130 pounds. But as of right now, we can't say that about Tank Davis.
Yeah,
So.
and this goes into a wider, bigger problem because number one, Gervonta Davis hasn't got no control in his promotion. The contract he signed, a devil's contract. Yeah, he signed a devil's contract. He ain't got no rights or nothing. He's trapped in that contract deal. They decide who he fights, and he has to fight. He hasn't got no control over what offers he can accept, what offers he can't accept. So he's in a tough situation in that deal. So I feel a little bit of sympathy for him, just a little bit. But it's tough for it. It's tough for him because, and also number two is that this is the longer term problem that Showtime has got because PBC has signed a deal with Fox and signed a deal with Showtime. So it's going to be a situation where you're going to have to prioritize which fighters are going to be on where. And the problem is that the opponent that they got, they plucked him from two weight divisions to fight Gervonta Davis. Whereas the situation now, and people are saying, and Espinosa is pissed off because he's thinking he's getting the lower end of the stick. Because he's thinking that PBC are prioritizing Fox Sports for all the top fighters and not Showtime, which that's going to be a big issue long term.
I mean, just to give you a heads up, Fox is pretty much it's like a local channel. It's like a channel that you don't have to pay for versus a Showtime is pretty much a subscription-based channel. So when you think about the business aspect of it, you're probably going to prioritize Fox because guess what? It's pretty much free TV in a sense, And
someone should tell Espinosa that because he ain't happy about this.
Well, yeah. Well, Espinosa knows that he's pissed off, and he should be. You know what I'm saying? He's pissed off, and he should be because he's like, hey, look, hey, we're here too. We want to get some of that action. He should be mad, but as a businessman, you can't blame Al for prioritizing Fox over Showtime. Considering, just considering the networks and one, because I think I pay like maybe $15 a month for Showtime, maybe something like that, $10. I don't know what it is, but it's on my bill. But with Fox, I don't even have to have it's regular cable. You don't have to pay for it. So.
We'll put it this way. We can all agree that Gervonta Davis is going to beat this guy. Ain't going to be no problem. He'll beat him up, probably knock him out, and he'll look good. But the question is that Eddie Hearn said that he's going to come out with another offer for Gervonta Davis, which is more than what was offered last time. The question is whether Gervonta Davis is actually going to see what the offer is.
You know what I find strange is that same contract that Tank is in is similar to that contract that Floyd was in when he was signed with Bob Arum and Top Rank. Very, very similar. You can go check the backstory on how he got out of that contract. But, I just find it weird that Floyd would, do something like that to Tank, considering, how his career went and how he had a standstill for such a long time. But, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Can I put some context to it?
Yeah,
I truly feel like Floyd is doing this because Gervonta slept with Floyd's daughter, Yaya. I mean, not a lot of people know that, but you know, Floyd took him out of the hood and brought him to his house, and he was sleeping over Floyd's house in his mansion, and he had sex with Floyd's daughter. I mean, that's what Shakur Stevenson said. That's what Devin Haney said. You know, so I think Floyd is like, man, fuck you. I'm gonna put you in this deal. I'm gonna shelf you when I want to. You're gonna fight who I want you to fight. Just basically screwing his career over. That's what I think is happening, in my opinion.
Well, put it this way. Oh, that's some big news there. But
I mean, let's be real. When Tank, it wasn't real. Tank did lose the belt on the scales, though. That wasn't Floyd's fault. Floyd did put him in a title fight. Then he had another title fight after that, and guess what? You lost the belt. That's all Tank's problem right there. I just think somewhere in between, it was a big time disconnect. And I mean, you know, you smashing somebody's daughter, that may have a lot to do with it.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's business though, because at the end of the day, Floyd is, you know, like he smashed his daughter, Floyd is smashing himself because he's getting screwed up in the end because this is your fighter and he gets you paid as well as you getting him paid. It's a mutual relationship. So Floyd knows better than anybody. Business first, man. Let's be real.
And the thing is, this John Devonta Davis is the biggest name on his promotion. He's the biggest name. So the fact that you're going to be screwing over the biggest name on your promotion, you're screwing yourself and you're screwing your entire promotion. And as well, and also that's going to put off potential fighters for signing for you as well. I mean,
yeah, because I never understood why Floyd and TMT pushed Banu Jack as much as they did. I mean, I don't understand that. To me, Banu Jack he's a good fighter, but they push for him like he's the elite of the elite, and he's impressive, but he's not as impressive as they make him seem to push him the way that they do. They were trying to create a superstar that was really more so like a fallen star. They need to push Tank that way. That's just my opinion. Somebody may agree or disagree with me, but what you guys think about that?
Yeah, no, but we also need I think Floyd should have got Badu Jack more money because, I mean, if you look at his purses, it's ridiculous. It's like $700K. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Adrian Broner is getting $1 million. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And Badu Jack is fighting stiff competition. I'm just talking about I'm talking about the publicity and the promotion that Banu Jack gets, not so much the amount of money that Banu Jack gets.
But that's where I was referring to before when it's talking about the overall problem in regards to the boxers not getting promoted properly, and that's the problem because it's very hard to. Things with Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner is very good at self-promoting himself, and also as well, he's in a division where there's a lot of big names, so he can kind of feed off. Whereas with Banu Jack, in the division that he was in previously, he was fighting at 168. Then there wasn't the names that was gonna. There wasn't the fighters around that division that could garner that publicity for for him to get to those kinds of money. Do you know what I mean?
But he fought Groves. I mean, he had Groves.
Yeah, but Groves is not really big in the States. It's like Broner when he fought Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi is kind of a big name, and then you've got Marcus Maidana, and people were saying he's the guy. He's the next Floyd Mayweather. So you've got that, and then he's got there's a potential fight with Mayweather. So that kind of boosted his profile a little bit. So because you're in that same division, you can make a name for yourself and make some decent money. But if you're in it's like Jacobs, he's in that same division with Canelo, so he can make a name of himself being in that same division and make decent money. And then if he goes and fights Canelo, he can get even more money. Whereas with Badu Jack, there's no equivalent of that in his division. Do you know what I mean? So it's very hard to build. And that's the same thing what I was saying with Charlo, because he's in the same division, but because he's away from where the champions are, it's very hard for him to make a name for himself without being in the same in the same division with Triple G, Andrade, Jacobs in that conversation. Because as long as he's out of PBC, he's not going to be in that conversation, and it's going to be very hard to build him up into a star. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's on the struggle bus. He's in the same predicament as Terrence Crawford. You know, he's on the wrong side of the street, so he's not going to get those fights unless he signs or makes a one fight deal or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty much like Doc now. I'm not holding this side of the street thing any longer, bro. It's on the promotion. It's their fault. It's Al Heyman's fault. It's Eddie Hearn's fault. Shelly Finger, whatever you want to put it, it's all their fault. They just did not want to make the fight happen. That's their fault. They should have came to an agreement. And this is just a thing where it happens in reality, and I know this is kind of cruel way of thinking it, but it happens as far as like working too, where if you just don't have the power, people just will not give you the time of day. So it's up to you as a fighter to have the power and the leverage to get these fights. And if you don't have it, then it's kind of like a tough luck deal. You can't come to an agreement because a lot of times these fighters ain't going to accept deals where they don't feel comfortable. So it's everyone's fault. Jamal is not 100% accountable. Canelo is dang sure is not 100. Canelo is definitely not getting a pass for it either. But I'm saying as far as who's really like getting on my nerves, it's like pretty much everyone. It's Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys just need to come together and try to make the fights happen, and that's what they need to do. The people just need to come together and make the fights happen. Obviously, I don't like this side of the street, the other side of the street. I just think that everyone, I just think they need to find a way of working together. I do think that most promotions are trying to work together when they can, because I think it's beneficial for as a whole. Because as fans, we don't want to keep on seeing fighters in not interesting fights. We want to see fighters in interesting fights. So, yeah, I agree. So, all right then, guys. Anyways, I'm gonna call it to a close. Anyways, so it's been like over 2 hours. I might do another show tomorrow because we haven't even covered everything. Yeah, we haven't even covered like some of the other stuff. So yeah, man. So let's do some final thoughts then. So I'm biased. You have any final thoughts?
Hopefully we could get the fights that we as fans really want to see, and these promotional companies stop being greedy. But it was good chopping it up, talking boxing with you guys. And yeah, man, send a link and I'll jump on the one tomorrow too.
All right, cool. Hey, Phil, you got any final thoughts? You're probably at work now, but yeah, Phil's at work, but he's listening in still. Battle, have you got any final thoughts? Nope, his final thought is he's probably sleeping or at work as well. So, all right then, guys. So that's it for the show. Thanks for everybody that's watching. Thanks for everybody who's in the comments. So you got Johnny, Lawrence, Phil. You got Unbiased. Andy Essex, Champ Boxer. Thanks for everybody in the chat. I might do another show tomorrow, so keep tuned. I'll put it all on my social media. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and that notification button. And also follow my social media because that's where I put all my latest boxing news on there as well. On my, hey, Andy Essex, how's it going? Also as well, I'm near 10,000 likes on my Facebook, so like on that as well. Anything else you want me to say, leave it in the comments. Anything you want me to talk about, I'll do a show on it. Always open to what you guys' suggestions. And anything else, I'll talk about it. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you in the next one.